Okay, let's get started with today's session. I started recording. Okay, so yesterday we have seen S3. What is how S3 is storing the data and how S3 is retrieving the data and all. Uh, so we have seen some options like what are versionings in S3, and we have seen an example for one of the bucket where we can to do the bucket policy and enable the public to access this bucket from external internet. So there are access control list and bucket policies. So under properties, we have seen versioning, server access logging, object level logging, and static web hosting. We try to host one static demo website and access that. And we have seen few options of S3, right? And what are the different storage types when you upload the file? You can storage in different availability zones based on your need and availability, how frequently you are going to access the data. Some data which you are not accessing very frequently will be moving to a one zone, 1A, and the data which you will not access very oftenly, that you will move to Glacier, right? Like archiving the data and all, you'll be moving to Glacier. So in today in S3 there are other services, right? Like I have again an overview why EFS is used and FSX is used. EFS is used for it's like a shared drive for Linux systems, I told, right? And FSX is a shared drive for Windows machines. Just give me a sec, guys. Yeah. FSX is a shared drive for Windows machine. So let us do one demo for EFX. Windows, most of you are know how to do this one, so you can try on your own. Because if I try to explain each and every service, right, one service will take one day to explain. So then obviously we need to extend our training to around 50 days like that. So what I will do is whichever is important from today, those topics will do the lab and go. Okay. So S3 we already completed. EFX we will see today. Then FSX is not that important, and also this is straightforward. You already know how to use Windows shade, right? Like, so for example, you'll use like this 10 dot 1 dot 1 dot 100 slash share folder. So this is in Windows. Similarly, for Linux, we will see how to do it in EFS. Okay. After this, we'll see what is how to see. We know how to push the data to Glacier, right? So, for example, after some in life cycle mapping, you have retention. After 30 days, you need to move to one zone A. After from there, after 90 days, you need to move to Glacier. So, like this, you can either move to Glacier or you can directly move from S3 to Glacier the data. But how you are going to retrieve the data? So, you will not have option to directly download or also in order to push bulk data, this the options which we are seeing is not that robust. So there are some third party tools which helps you to push to Glacier and from Glacier to retrieve the data. Okay, we will discuss EFS and Glacier today, and we'll go to RDS in next class. Okay. Okay, so EFS means elastic file system. Okay, till now we have seen EBS and instance store, right? So let me take a new one. Yeah. So let us assume you have your availability zone here. Okay. So you have three EC2 missions. Let's say you have one EC2. Okay. So three EC2 missions we have, and we also discussed about network interfaces. If you remember, so I will give again an overview. I'm sure that you would overlooked that concept. So okay. So here you have your network storage area, and let me name this one. Okay, so this is your ETH0. So anyone remember this interface, network interface, why we are adding additional network interface? We have discussed some scenario also for this. Let's say this is in 2A, this is for 2B, and this is for 2C. Okay, this is EC2 in 2A. 2B, 2C. Okay, so we have three EC2 missions, mission 1, mission 2, and mission 3. So now when you are connecting, earlier what we have done, when you are allocating EBS volume, you were allocating 10 GB, 20 GB, and then you are mounting it, then you are attaching that one to this particular EC2 mission, right? Now EFS is nothing but elastic file system. So earlier what was the process is, if you go to lab notes, so in EBS, let us see what exactly we were doing, right? So in EBS, we were creating a volume. Then we are attaching that volume to EC2. Attach volume to EC2. Then we do, sorry, we do fdisk commands, right? Fdisk the volume. Then we make the file system extensions, right? So this, I guess everyone are aware of this one. Any queries, whoever not done the lab, then you are mounting it to file path. Then you are putting all this configuration in FS tab. So do you agree this is the process what we were doing in EBS when we are creating a new volume? But say whenever you have multiple missions, okay, let's say this is one mission, this one mission, and this is one mission. So you have three missions. Whenever these three missions want to use the same type of file, say for example your server logs are generating in this area, and these are the customers who want to access those logs. Then so first what we are doing, you are creating a storage here, which is nothing but EFX storage here. Okay, so you call it as EFS. Okay, then you will give the storage through this Ethernet, to this network interfaces. So if you see here, while creating our EC2 missions, you have an option, right, for creating a network interface. So let me launch an instance. So go to, so by the way, we also need to launch three instances, one in zone A, one in zone B, and one in zone 3, either A, B, or C. And why I'm telling 2C is because we are in US East 2, right? Our region, US East 2. That's why I'm telling 2. A is available to zone A, B is available to zone B, and C is available to zone C. Okay. So now let us select VPC, select our public subnet. So after selecting the public subnet, if you see here, here we have the network interfaces. So I have given a use case why this network interface is required for you to add additional. So you can add as many network interfaces as you like, right? So for this instance, only two. So for other instances, you can have as many as you want. So if you see here, AWS network interface. I guess there is. Yeah. So based on the instance type, you can see how many max you will get. So for example, we have selected T2 micro, right? T2 micro at max, you can add only 2 network interfaces at a time. So what is the use, why we were using it is like, say, for example, you have one EC2 mission. So these are your EC2 missions and storage, right? So for example, you can redirect your web traffic in one route, and you can redirect your storage traffic in another route. So that's the main reason you are having two things. So one is used only for internet traffic, one is used only to capture your database traffic. That's the reasons to just gain this. Since you're moving all the traffic in another network interface, obviously your latency will be very improved, right? That's the reason we were using network interface. So whenever you create a project, EC2 instance, right? Obviously under okay, let me create and show it for you. uh, Add storage. Yeah, thanks. This mission we will launch it as server 2A, because it is in availability zone A. We are launching in public subnet 1. Yeah. So if you see here under EC2, you have an option for network interfaces. Yeah. So we have launched one EC2, right? By default, when you launch an EC2, already a network interface will be created by, here. So like this, if you launch here, so if you see our EFS diagram, so you this EC2s by default they will create one network interface. So total 3 network interface by default will come. Later, this 3 network interfaces will be created by EFS file system. Okay, so all this network will be connected to storage area network or EFS. Okay, like this it will be connected. Now, when you connect like this, so whenever so this is the common storage area, right? So this storage, whenever you want to access some files from this storage area, so for example, 2A want to access, he will come to this network interface channel. He will go, he will access the file, and he will come back like this. So they will not overlap with each other. So suppose if 2B want to access, he'll directly go like this and he'll come like this. So for example, you are spinning one more instance in the same zone. So one more EC2 instance in zone B, right? So this interface also, this EC2 also will go on the same network interface. So that is how EFS will work. So that's what we are going to create now one check. So to access this one, right, on the storage area, you will have only one endpoint. You will create an endpoint here. The same endpoint will be given for all the users. You can, so if you see, while in EBS, these are the steps to follow. Whereas in EFS, you have only one step to follow. You can just mount with your local folder. Say for example, you created a local folder share. So you can use only one command, mount, and you will be providing this endpoint to mount with that command, and you can directly use. You no need to create a volume, or so volume will be, it will be like this. By default you will get around 8 EB. E means exa. If you are not aware, like first you will get like KB, MB, GB, TB. TB means GB means gigabyte, TB means terabyte, PB means petabyte, then EB. So EB means EXA. Okay. So by default, you will get 8 exabyte when you create uh, one uh, one EFS system. Okay. Okay. Let's create and see. So if we see here, now let us launch 2 more instances in 2 different available zones quickly. Now let me select public subnet 2. I'll launch one more in subnet 3. Yeah. So now we have 3 servers here, server 2A, 2B, and 2C. Just ignore this. This I use for DevOps lab now. So if you see here, uh, there are 3 servers. Now let us map these 3 servers to our EFS. So let's go to S3. Just give me a second.
Harish,
Yeah.
did you mention
Shevkar.
different?
Yeah, Kiran. Sorry, go ahead, please.
Well, okay, we're creating this EC2 instances. Did you mention this network interfaces different?
Sorry, Kiran. Can you please come again?
Now, while creating these EC2 instances, did we mention about the different network interfaces?
No. So we no need to mention anything. So what exactly happens is, if you see here under network interfaces, for any EC2 server you launch, right, by default a network interface will be created. Okay, that is what I showed you now. So now when you're creating file system, right, EFS file system, other 3 interfaces which I showed in the diagram, right, this will be created automatically. So that we are going to do now. Okay, so we no need to do anything explicitly. So already we'll get one by default. The additional one, this one we no need to add. This while creating EFS, we need to do configuration. With that configuration, by default it will come, and also it will be mapped. Say for example, I showed only one instance here, right? So for example, if you launch one more EC2, both the EC2 will go through this network interface only.
Okay.
Yeah. So so if you go under services, click on EFS. So there is some new concept called access points. Even I haven't not seen about that. I'll just tell about file systems in this session. So after doing the lab, you see what are these access points. Okay. So click on create file system and let's give this as shared file system EFS. So then we are doing in August 1st VPC. Then click on customize. Once you click on customize, then you will get all the options, right? So network access. So here, so lifecycle management. Here you can configure automatically save money by moving the EFS. Okay, suppose if you're not using any data, so this is the lifecycle management. If you don't want to do anything, just give it a none. And general purpose, if you want to increase your max IO, then you can go this one. For this additional building will be there. I'll just keep general purpose. Enable encryption. Okay, this is for encrypting your data. Just ignore that. Name. We'll give a same name. Yeah, and this is August 1st VPC. I'll remove all the security groups. Yeah. So you can assign your public IP address. Otherwise, if you leave it blank, it'll automatically assign. So whenever you create your network IP, right? I mean, network interface, you need to provide an IP address for that to access that particular network interface. So either you can provide IP address. If you leave blank, automatically it pick up some IP address from that particular CIDR range. Let us leave it blank. And security group, I'm selecting August 1st security group. Next, file system policy. So if you want to enable some file systems, right? So for example, if you have a, CIDR, say for example 10.1.1. This is, let's say 100 to 256. This, I mean 1 to 256. Only in this subnet you want access from IP addresses only 1 to 100. The IP addresses which are above 100, if you don't want to access, then you can write the JSON format, the policy here. So that yesterday I have shown, right, using the policy editor. You can go there and you can create your policy editor and you can paste it here. Like that you can keep some rules, only which IPs you need to access, or you need to go give only read only access or write only access. Like that, different policies are there. Let's not get into detail so much. Let's create a file system and see how to use that. And these are self-explanatory options. You can see them and go to next. Yeah. So this is fine. 2A subnet is there, security group. Okay. Yeah. So let's create a file system. So once you create your file system, right, you can see here, initially it will be, yeah, it is success. Yeah, you can see, you can monitor here basically how much data is there in that particular file system, and monitoring logs, tags, file system policies. You can see access points. So this is the option which you need to explore. Even I haven't seen what are these access points. And network, under which network it is they are going to connect. So you need to give some time for this to be active. So right now it is creating this interface. Okay, this is the interface, right? So this interface it is trying to create here. Once it is created, you will get an endpoint. Using that endpoint, you can connect through these interfaces. Let's wait till it's get active. So you need to attach this one. Once you create it, you can attach using this command. Let's copy this command. Okay. So meanwhile, let us log into this EC2 servers, all the 3 servers. Mm. Yeah. So now we got this is the system 1, which is yellow color one, and this blue color one is system 2, and black color one we have system 3. Okay, so now we have all the three systems. This is in zone A, zone B, and zone C, right? So now we have created one EFS. So that EFS we need to distribute across these three systems. So as I told here, right, you no need to follow all these ones. So you have volume of 6 EB. So this volume you can use across these three. What you need to do is just in every system you need to use this mount command, and you need to create a folder locally there, and from that folder you can use the shared storage. So for that, if you see here, this is your endpoint. Let me put it here. Okay. For this endpoint, now you need to, all the interfaces would be up now. Let's go and refresh here. Go to network. Yeah, so all are available. If you see here, for this, for zone A, zone 2B, and 2C. So now zone 2A is nothing but a mission which is with yellow color, right? So let us, the mission will be connected like this. Okay. And zone 2 mission is with blue color, right? So the let's connect the mission will like this, and zone 3 is black color. So for this file system, now we have connected all these three interfaces, right? So now anything, say this is in sub 2A, which is for subnet 1 missions. Now in this AC2 mission, you need to use this mount command. So mount this endpoint. So this is your system EC2. Here you need to mount this file system. When you mount like this, by default, this yellow color line will be providing the communication like this. So how many, it will be like exact all the whatever the files you kept inside here can be viewed by any of these three systems using this one. But 2A systems will come only through this channel, 2B systems will come through this channel, 2C systems will come through this channel. That's the difference I'm trying to explain. Clear? So questions here? So how do you mount that, right? So let us see the mount command which we copied here. So mount T, this is the network file system, and version is 4.1, and this is the other parameters. So just copy this. So before copying that, let's go to system one, which is yellow color. So clear. Now I don't have any folders here. Let us create one folder, mkdir shared folder. Okay. So list here. So uh,
Harish, check
P4.
the location where we are.
Yeah.
Your
Let's create here. mkdir shared folder. Shit. So we have two things. We'll remove this one. RMF1. Okay, we have only one folder, shared folder here. Okay. Similarly, let's go to system 2. So mkdir shared folder. Okay. Let's go to system 3, which is this one. Okay, clear. So now we have a common folder in all the three systems. Now only thing is, now we need to tell all these three systems. So now we need to tell 2A, 2B, and 2C to use this particular network interface to access this particular storage area. So for that, as I told you the difference here, right? So in EFS file system, you need to do only one thing, mount command. So which is nothing but this one. So copy this particular command and execute. Let's do first in system one. Copy paste. So last is it is shared folder. Okay. So once you execute, the command will be there. Now let us try to keep a file here. Okay. So navigate to shared folder here and touch test file. Okay. Test file. This is a test file in server 1 and zone A. Okay, save this file. Okay, so this is you can see, right? So now when you mount for now what you have done, so you made a connectivity for from this one to this Ethernet and you are able to access this particular file system. Now so whatever you saved in the shared folder here, right? You have a shared folder here. Whatever you shared here should be obviously visible in 2B and 2C also, right? That's the agenda. Now 2B also need to connect to this one and 2C also need to connect to this one. Now let us execute this command for 2C shared folder. To B. Okay, and in let's execute this in third mission as well. Okay, so now if you see here in third mission under shared folder, if you do list, already test file is available, which we created in mission 1, right? So in mission 1 we have created test file. It's already available. Even it should be available even in system 2 list. If you do here, yeah. Now let us create one file here in system 2 and let's check whether that file will be visible for other systems. I'll say this as server 2 zone B. Okay, so if you see here, now you can see test file 2 is available. And if you want to see the data for test file 2, so this is a test file in server 2 and zone B. So here we have created the same file will be available here as well. So this is how see basically if you are all are working now, whoever are there in the call, right? So you know what is a shared folder. So anyone can keep any files there and anyone can access those files. Anyone can read, write based on the permissions given to the particular user for a shared folder. That is what we are seeing in our day-to-day life was a Windows 1. So here in Linux, we are using EFS, and using that EFS, we have created this share folder thing. Clear? So questions now?
Harish, when we were creating that EFS, there was one variable, I think, for burst. It was saying that instance type or something it was saying, but it was mentioning burst. So
Yep.
what is that
So
burst?
it's all about storage techniques, Sailesh, I'm not aware. You can just read on the AWS link.
Okay, sure.
Yep. So basically, so you are not going to do this one, all this EFS setup and one time and all this network guys will do. But suppose if you are working as a sysop or it's sysops position in for AWS, right? If you're managing then you will be creating this and be providing for your project team. Okay, if you're architect, you'll just tell what is the size of EFS file system and what subnets you need to create and what are the systems that need to be accessed for that one. So that's what you're going to do in the design. So if I yesterday I have given overview, I'm sure that you people listen during the call and you will not revise the documents. So because it's not practically explained, right? That's why either I want to explain for Windows or Linux. Windows we are using in our day-to-day office life. So that's why I choose Linux to explain in this call. Okay. So questions, do you want me to repeat this again from, or you are clear with this? So any questions either in S3? So tomorrow we'll start with RDS. So before that, any questions? S3 we have seen, EFS we have seen, and Glacier we have seen. So this is, you can ignore, but you just open this FSX, read, see for any AWS service, if you're not aware, right, FSX and type use case in Google, you will get a FSX document. You can read the document and get familiar with what exactly, what services this will do, what are the inputs, what exactly it is providing, and everything we can get with that documentation. So even, see, no company in the world will use all the AWS services except Amazon. So that's why, but it's not mandatory that for everyone should know everything. If you see here, there are some services like media services. Only media companies will use this. No other companies will use, right? So, but whatever we have selected for our course are a bit important, and we are using them in our day-to-day life. But you should just know what that service is doing. Say for example, FSX means, when they ask what is FSX, you need to tell it is a file system which is similar to EFS, but EFS is for Linux and FSX is used for Windows system, and you can use in a traditional Windows mounting. How we use that, we can create FSX and you can use it in for Windows shared file system. So questions?